Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for letting loose on my mom, because she believes she didn't parentify me? I'm a 31 male with one sister, 20. Our mom made it pretty clear that she didn't really want us. It was my dad who mainly did everything for me. My dad tried to get her to do things occasionally, but she'd respond with, "That's what you're here for. Husbands are supposed to cater to the needs of their wife." Or if my dad called her to check if I had lunch when he wasn't there, I overheard her say the little turd can get food for himself. Not much changed when my sister was born. It was mainly my dad who had to do everything. On my 16th birthday, my dad left this crap freaking world cause of a car accident, and that's when my life started to become hell. My mom became even more of a deadbeat, and it was mainly me who looked after my sister, and did all the things that I did around the house. Cleaning, cooking, putting my sister to bed, etc. Present day, I don't keep a lot of contact, which is why I was surprised when she got a hold of me this morning. Apparently, she was kicked out of my uncle's, after she kept causing problems. He refused to clarify what exactly it was, and she asked me if I would do my solely duties, and let me live with her. I flat out told her to F off, and that she never did her motherly duties, and I had to basically be my sister's father, and I said she basically parentified me. I loved my sister, but doing the things my mother was supposed to do for her, was really a downplay on my life. If it's cruel to feel this way, let me know. She says that it's not parentification, because I'm a guy and older brothers have that duty of looking after their baby siblings. That very sentence is what caused me to shut down and reboot with rage. I screamed, and let out every obscenity I could think of at her, and I said I failed to understand how my father married her in the first place. She just cried and said, "Me and my sister are selfish brats who should be grateful that she brought us into this world." I told her to go F herself and hung up. I called my sister, turns out mom called her as well, but my sister just hung up. I feel like I should have done the mature thing like my sister did, and a bunch of my friends said that the things I said were horrible. She's my mother, and I have to let it go eventually. My aunt told me that my mom lost the right to call me her son a long time ago. Other family members never really liked my mom, so they're backing me on this. But, I still feel like a jerk, so, go all out with the roasting if I'm wrong. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, I'm a mother. As a mother I want you to understand that your mother thinks being a mother is some kind of given placement. Like a royal. It's not a given placement at all, but an earned placement. She didn't earn anything. Go no contact. And people who tell other people, it's family, you'll have to forgive them someday, have no concept of what a bad or toxic family member is. Subjecting yourself to someone because they share DNA, is not required. I bet letting loose on her felt good. Another thing that may help is to write it all down. You can send it to her if you want, or never send it. Sometimes it's just therapeutic to put it in print. Love your sister and have a good life. I want to overhear OP say, "The little turd can get housing for herself." Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, and you're not the a-hole for yelling and saying all those things to her either. She needed to hear those words. Your mother really should have never had children, and it sounds like she never actually wanted children, which isn't yours or your sister's faults. All your family said that you weren't the a-hole because they know how your mother is. Why did OP's friends say that he was cruel? He just said the truth, and after so long, and so much entitlement, it's no wonder he yelled. That very sentence is what caused me to shut down and reboot with rage. I have never felt a sentence describe something so succinctly. OP, you are definitely not the a-hole. Honestly agree. That sentence puts into words how I felt when ended up going no contact with my own mother. 3 days of her screaming down the phone at me, plus texting battles in between calls, because she didn't like that I had a different plan for my wedding than she originally discussed with me. Even then, I gave her a second chance and laid down about 3 ground rules for going out to lunch with me. She broke all 3 in the first 5 minutes, literally. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my stepsister and her family stay with me in the short term? To make a long story short, my mom got married a year and a half ago. Her husband has a daughter a year older than me who is married with kids. She and her husband were moving to my city for his job in November, and had a place lined up. Turns out they were doing a private thing, kind of like Airbnb, and were conned out of the rent for the place. They called her dad to ask for help, and he suggested that they should ask me. She and I have no communication, so he gave her my number and he called me first to give me a heads up. I said no when he asked. Then she called and asked, and I said no again. To say they weren't happy was an understatement. My mom got involved, and said a couple of weeks wouldn't have hurt. Her husband was the one who did the most communication with me about the whole thing. He said I was turning my back on family, how could I leave my own sister and nieces on the street, etc. I rolled my eyes, which he couldn't see, and I told him I did not feel comfortable opening my home at this time. The truth is, I do not see this girl or her family as anything to me. We are both adults. We met twice in our lives. We have never talked outside of those 2 times. They are strangers to me, not family, and my mom's husband is not family either. He's just my mom's husband. I only had stepsister in the title, because my mom's husband's daughter is just going to make the title long as hell. My fiancé was glad I didn't want them to stay too, but he would have been fine with it if I had felt differently. I need to know if I'm the a-hole though. My mom isn't pissed, but she's upset I turned them down. And she's who I care about most in this. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You've met twice. She's a stranger. Op and the stepsister met twice, she's a stranger, and there's a freaking pandemic going on. Bringing a whole family unit into OP's home is such a bad idea all around. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, it was pretty bold of them to try using the family card on you, when you literally are strangers. I wouldn't feel comfortable having them in my place either, nor would I claim them as family. Not the a-hole, you don't know this person at all. Why doesn't she move in with her dad? Or, just find an apartment in town? It can't take more than a week to find a place. My mom and her husband are nowhere near the city, so they were not a good option. I think he wanted to find them something that would cost them little to nothing, aka, staying with someone. Why didn't he just pay for a hotel for his own kids instead of using you as a scapegoat? I think he wanted to not spend money if he could. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for picking my dog over my pregnant sister? This happened about a week ago, but I'm getting a lot of crap from family and friends, so I want an external opinion. Last year, my 32 female sister, 28 female, was kicked out of her boyfriend's house and I took her in. We don't have the best relationship, but she was jobless and I was the only relative still living in our country. Surprise, surprise. About 2 months later, she figured out she was pregnant. One day, she started to complain about my dog, a beautiful 2-year-old half husky, and how it would be bad for her baby, and that she wouldn't raise her kid with a wild animal around. My dog is a total sweetheart. I told her it was my house and if she was not comfortable here, she could leave and my dog was staying no matter what. She kept complaining, but I wouldn't change my mind. About 2 weeks ago, I had to travel for work to a remote location for a few days. When I came back my dog was not home, and my sister claimed she had no idea where it was. We got into a fight because I didn't believe her. I ended up storming off and asked a few neighbors if they had seen it. One told me the last time he saw it was when my sister took him somewhere a few days ago. She uses my Uber account, because she's broke, so when I found an odd trip to the other side of the city, I connected the dots. I drove all the way over there, and after asking around, I found my dog in a street restaurant. The owner took him after a blonde pregnant woman left him leashed to a fence. I ended up explaining the situation, paying him like $500 and I got my dog back. When I went back home, I kicked out my sister. I gave her enough money for a week in a hotel, and sent her on her merry way. She made a huge scandal, and I admit I was a bit too forceful, but I was furious. She called all my family and friends, and they're all telling me I'm an a-hole for picking my dog over my sister, and that I should take her back, that I should value that unborn baby more than a silly animal. I think my dog is more important, and what my sister did is unforgivable, but I'll accept your judgment. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You didn't choose the dog over your sister. She stole from you, and you discovered she couldn't be trusted to live in your house. She got herself kicked out. That silly animal is your responsibility, your sister's unborn baby is not. I can't upvote this enough. The dog was there in the house prior to the sister moving in. That's not her house. You can't make rules for a house you don't own. Plain and simple. Or lease, when someone does you a favor, you don't crap on their carpet, you stay out of the way, and thank the stars and moon someone helped you. Not the a-hole. I've rewritten this so many times, I'm so angry. She's a monster. Never let her near your dog again. I would never forgive anyone if they did that to my dog. I can't believe she's going to raise a child, poor kid. I know, right? I don't know how OP managed to refrain from doing far worse things than just kicking her out, cause I'm seeing red just reading this. Not the a-hole. She got way more than she deserved from you, OP. Not the a-hole, not the a-hole, not the a-hole. Dude. You took her into your house. She witched about your dog, and then kidnapped your dog. I'm glad that you got your pup back and kicked her out. Get a lawyer, call the cops. She broke the law. At least sister was stupid enough to use OP's Uber account. Update. After reading all your comments, I feel better with my decision. I'll try to answer some questions, but I can't read all the comments. I'm sorry if I missed something. 1. I left my dog with my sister, because I never thought she would do something like this. She was complaining, and that should have been a huge red flag, but she complains about many things and never do anything else. I just thought it was something she'd forget about in a few weeks. I didn't leave her in charge of my pet, in the sense that she didn't need to do anything for it. I have an automatic feeder, and my backyard is big enough for it to go without walkies for a few days. 2. I live in a country where animal protection laws are almost non-existent. It would have been a hassle to get my lawyer to convince the police to get involved. Blame me for not using the proper legal channels, but I just wanted my dog back as soon as possible. I was really lucky my sister was dumb enough to take an Uber, or I probably would have never found my dog. The easiest thing was to pay the guy who found him. I'm going to sound like an a-hole for this, but in that part of town, people don't take animals for the goodness of their hearts. I was lucky I could convince the guy to let me buy it back. 3. About the bit too forceful part. I mean, I was furious and screamed like a mad woman. She was hysterical too. The neighbors got involved and supported me, and I ended up throwing her the money for the hotel through the taxi window. I'm pretty sure I scared the hell out of the driver. 4. I gave her money because even if I was mad, it felt wrong to throw someone pregnant to the streets with only her clothes and cell phone. At least the money would be enough for her not to starve for a few days, until she gets help from someone else. 5. She's not ever living with me again. I'm going no contact with everyone who sided with her. Yes, I explained my points of view, but I come from a very conservative family that values human life above all. I've been drilled this in my head my whole life, so it was hard to know if I was making the right choice, which now seems obvious. 6. I don't really know why she broke things off with her boyfriend. The story changes a lot, but I'll tell you, they met when she came to visit me a few years ago, and she ended up moving in with him all in the same month. 7. The arrangement was that she could live with me until the pandemic is over. No one would hire a pregnant woman, plus she works in tourism, which is a dead field right now. The last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for letting my kids live in filth? I am currently a stay-at-home mom to 4 kids. A 10, 8, 2, and 1-year-old. As you can imagine, the house gets messy if I don't keep on it constantly. Throughout this pandemic, everyone has been home. Hubby is working from home, my 10-year-old and 8-year-old are distance learning, and the babies are, well, they are babies. They are always home. This normally isn't a problem for me. I have to clean a bit more, and help my older ones with school, but all in all, not too much has changed for myself. My family, on the other hand, seem to think being home all day every day is grounds to be lazy 24/7. I do not put up with this, but somehow, my floor is a catch-all. When I talk to everyone, or discuss chore charts, everyone agrees with me, then goes right back to normal. The older kids have completely lost their allowance due to this. On to the incident. A little under a week ago, I told everyone it's their responsibility to clean. I would still wipe down stuff, wash the dishes, do laundry and mop/vacuum, but it was up to everyone else to put dishes in the sink, clothes in the hamper, and make sure surfaces/floor are picked up enough for me to do my part. My family has done none of this, and to be honest, I'm probably kind of a jerk about it. Oh, you don't have anything to eat off of? Guess you should put dishes in the sink. I do still feed everyone. Oh, you tripped over the crap in the floor? Maybe it would help if you picked it up. My family is slowly getting the hint, and are coming up with a plan to tackle the mess. My mother-in-law thought it was a good idea to make a surprise visit, and saw the state of my house. She was disgusted and proceeded to witch me out for not doing my job. I told her I'm doing my job, plus hers, by teaching my husband/her son and my kids how to pick up after themselves. She threw a fit, and threatened to call CPS for letting my family live in filth. I told her to get out of my house. My husband has apologized, but I'm starting to feel bad. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You're a stay-at-home mom, not a slave. The children, I am including your husband in that, should do the bare minimum of tidying up after themselves. Your mother-in-law is so unbelievably far out of line, threatening to call CPS on you, and you had every right to kick her out. Calling CPS would be reporting both parents anyway. CPS does not assign chores to one parent or another. Both would be held responsible, and both would be investigated. Not the a-hole. It's good that your husband apologized, and honestly, your husband needs to step up, because if he doesn't do his part, the children just learn from him, and that it's okay not respecting mom's work and time. Yeah. You really need to sit down with him and crack down on this, because it's pretty clear that the kids are taking his lead in this situation. And it's a bad lead that's going to lead to a lot of fighting when they're older, and having to deal with housemates or something, with no intention or obligation to clean up after them. Not the a-hole. Also, I would consider never allowing mother-in-law at your home again, if she thinks it's truly okay to threaten you with calling CPS. A decent mother-in-law might ask if everything is okay. Ding ding ding. Someone who wants to call CPS as a first action is not okay. What was she going to say? My dear son is home all day, but his wife doesn't clean enough? She should be apologizing to OP if she wants to visit ever again. Not the a-hole. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.